Let me ask you, are you tired of being a high level in a low league, or do you feel like you can have a lot more trophies than what you're at right now? Well, this video is going to show you the most important things to be successful in Clash Royale. You may be thinking that in order to be successful, you have to spend a lot of gems and have really high level cards, and that Clash Royale is a pay-to-win game. Well, this may be true for Clash of Clans, but it's not the case for Clash Royale. Spending a bunch of gems in Clash Royale is a false stereotype of the game. While it may help you a little bit, but that's not the important thing. As silly as this may sound, being good at Clash Royale and having high trophies is simply just being skilled at the game. In this video, I'm going to teach you guys the core fundamentals of being skilled at the game, which is going to be broken up into 2 minor topics and 1 major topic. Once you master these topics, I promise you, you'll find yourself gaining several hundred trophies. And it's the reason why you see level 5s in Arena 6, or level 6s in the Royal Arena, and even level 7s in the Legendary Arena. And it's also why there's level 11s on the leaderboard, even though most of them are level 13s with maxed out troops. Without further ado, let's get through this long intro, and let's go over the 2 minor topics and the 1 major topic. There are 2 minor topics in improving in Clash Royale. The first one is developing and knowing your deck, and then the second one is simply just understanding the game. The reason why I put these as minor topics is because you simply learn these simply just from playing the game. For developing your deck, it simply just comes from experimenting with your deck and trying new things. Once you realize a problem in your deck, you can fix it by replacing a card and accommodating it with something else. You can also look up a deck on YouTube or ClashRoyaleDeckBuilder.com. I recommend ClashRoyaleDeckBuilder.com because a lot of decks from there explain strategies and ultimate cards you can use in case you don't have a card or you don't like to use one of them, or it's just a low level or something. And one thing to watch out for is mindlessly copying off someone else's deck. What you want to do when you copy someone's deck is just copy their mentality behind the deck. For an example, as their tank, they use a giant, but you like to do fast and swift pushes and not the giant because the giant is super slow and the pushes can take a while. So instead of the giant, you use a hog rider instead, just to tack on a little bit of damage really quickly. One last thing I have to say about developing and understanding your deck is that it's not going to take one day for you to be good with your deck. It's going to take a lot longer for that. In fact, usually it can take a whole week of nonstop using just one deck in order for you to fully know and understand it. The next topic I'm going to talk about is simply understanding the game. And in order to do that, it's simply done by just playing the game. And what you want to do is just figure out what works and what doesn't work. For an example, if your opponent is using minion hordes a lot, you want to ask yourself, how do I counter it? And what wouldn't work would be giant or barbarians. But what would work would be arrows, zaps, wizards, and much, much more. You also need to figure out what works and what doesn't work in a lot more situations, such as hog rider pushes, spawner decks, or those defensive players who always spam the cannons and the bomb tower every time you try to push. Along with playing and experimenting with different things, you can also watch videos which can help you understand the game a little bit faster than just playing 100% of the time. For an example, you can watch a YouTuber playing a really good player and showing what to do in a certain situation, or replays from the replay section in the Clash Royale replay section. And if you are going to do that, I recommend that you find the lowest level person in the preferred arena that you want to watch in, because the lower level people are most likely to be more skilled and you'll probably learn more from watching them. And the best thing to do if you want to watch videos is just to watch your own replays and figure out if you could have handled a certain situation better or done something else. Overall, watching videos of yourself and other people will help you understand the game a little bit faster than just playing 100% of the time, but playing 100% of the time also works and can help you understand the game. Understanding the game and knowing and developing your deck are important, but this next thing I'm about to tell you is absolutely crucial to anyone who wants to be good at Clash Royale, and it is the whole reason I made this video. The most important thing in Clash Royale is Being able to predict and adapt to your opponent's pattern. Being able to predict and adapt to your opponent is absolutely crucial, and it separates a good player from a bad player. Even if someone is better than you, if you can just figure out them faster than they figure out you, you can still beat them. Explaining exactly how you do it in just some words is going to be extremely difficult, so instead, I'm just going to use examples on just a couple situations in Clash Royale. In fact, there are hundreds in a match sometimes, so this is just a couple examples. There's going to be a lot more situations in other matches. So without further ado, let's get into it. At the start of the match, I threw out a cannon on one side, and then I threw out a musketeer on that same side. And as soon as I threw out the musketeer, my opponent immediately responded by throwing out a giant and then a balloon on the opposite side of my musketeer and my cannon. And then all I had left to defend against him was my baby dragon. And that ended up taking one of my towers away. Then after that, I patiently waited him to go for the push again. So once he threw out his giant, this time, I went in and I used my cannon. And then I was expecting him to throw a balloon after it, so I shot the musketeer. And then I was able to counter push using the musketeer, and I was able to take the 3-star. Another example is with an opponent with no defense towers. What I mean by that is like no cannons, no bomb towers, none of that. So I noticed that whenever I push with my Hog Rider, he always uses his minion hordes. And what's interesting is that he never uses his minion hordes at any other time. He only uses it to defend against my Hog Rider. So what I do is I send my Hog Rider, and then as my Hog Rider is running, I send the arrows, and sure enough, my opponent placed down his minion hordes, and the arrows took it down right before it was even able to touch my Hog Rider. So after the match, my opponent might ask me for tips, and I can say, instead of using your minion hordes, use your barbarians instead. But at the same time, I can counter that by throwing out a Hog Rider and then a balloon. And after my opponent figures that out, then my opponent will use the minion hordes again, and I can do the same old barbarian same old Hog Rider and then minion horde. These examples are just based off of 1 or 2 decisions made in every match, and there are at least 50 decisions made in every match, and could be even more. Because of this, if you ever ask the person you played, either in your clan chat or something, for tips, they'll most likely say it depends, or it's situational. You have so many different options for every situation, and almost everything you can do can be countered if it's predicted. So that's why it's really hard to give advice, which is why they say it depends or it's situational. And this is why it's even possible for level 6s to make it the Royal Arena and even the Legendary Arena. It's also why levels 11s can be on the leaderboard, even though they have to compete with a bunch of level 13s who have maxed out troops. Adapting and predicting to opponents is the most important thing. You can play a match perfectly with no mistakes at all, but you'll still lose just because you are predictable. This alone makes Clash of Clans and Clash Royale a lot different games. Clash of Clans is a pay-to-win game, where you just pay to get gems and upgrade your stuff, but Clash Royale is a game that takes skill and adaptation to your opponent. Everyone who is watching this video, please remember to like this video and just share it as many people as you can, and even just telling your friends about it. The reason why you should share it to as many people as you can, that way people will know Clash Royale is a skill-based game and not a pay-to-win game. All I have left to say is thank you for watching my video, and if you have any more questions, make sure to let me know in the comment section below, because this video was made to help people, and I'll be glad to answer any questions you have. I'll see you guys in my next video.